What is going on, everybody? It is Tuesday night, time to talk some football. You'll have to forgive me. I've got, the island of Dr. Moreau going on behind me here. But we have a great, great show for you tonight. Obviously, we've got a lot to cover, and we only have about an hour. We're going to wind up going over like we always do, but we have so much to cover tonight. And I don't really I had a place and I cannot remember it for the life of me now. Uh, I don't know if we talked about this before, but there was a restaurant on San Pedro that was over by like across from the diversions. It was like seven different ones. But there was one, it was like a Bennigan's or something, but that wasn't it wasn't a
Talking about
Bennigan's.
Maggie's.
Oh, it might have been Maggie's. Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about, and it was Maggie's for the longest time. I think it's a Mexican restaurant now, but it's probably Maggie's. They used to have like a karaoke night there often, or every week or whatever. I'm not good at karaoke. I wouldn't torment people like that, but I did have some friends that would do that, and actually ended up winning their karaoke contest. And
Nice.
XFLMIG, thank you. Had a lovely vacation with my mother and my sister in California and Northern California and Oregon last week. A fantastic time, absolute beautiful country. Anybody gets a chance to go up there, especially Oregon, it's amazing. So
Excellent. Yeah, one of these days I'm gonna have to make myself available to go over there. But it is also California. So
it is, but once you get to the northern part, we started in Los Angeles and basically drove up the coast, stayed in Napa for a couple days, stayed up in the northwest and stuff. But yeah, once you got into the redwoods and you saw the massive redwoods they have up there, and then the Oregon with the coast and the trees, and we went to go see Crater Lake. We went to go look at some waterfalls, dude. It was amazing. I was in awe the entire time.
excellent. So do you have a place where you're coming from tonight, or should we get this show
You know
on the
what?
road here?
Tonight, I'm going to come from the Shoney Studios.
Oh, I remember Shoney's.
Yeah,
Right.
I think they still have them like other states, but not us. So
We ain't got to hear. That's all that matters. Okay, so I'm trying to get everything together. There's a reason why I'm kind of pushing really hard here. Again, we only have limited time, but there's a gentleman that I met very recently, and the reason why I met him is because he's doing some things a little bit different in football here, and the we're going to bring him in and talk about it, but he's kind of new to the scene. His name has been popping up, and it's been kind of exploding. And it really caught my attention what he's doing with football and everything. So I want to bring him in real quick. The gentleman that we're bringing in is, but the gentleman by the name of Quincy Workman, and he is part of the Texas Syndicate. But I'm gonna let him talk about all that stuff. So without further ado, Quincy, welcome to the show.
well, how you doing? Thanks for joining us, hanging out with us for a little bit.
Thanks for having me.
Certainly, man. Again, as I was telling the viewers, we're excited to talk to you because your name has kind of popped up on the scene. It seems like you're doing things a little bit different with football, and I love people who are innovators that kind of try and think outside the box and do things a little bit differently, right? So, uh, let's talk about this, right? Again, I'm super excited about kind of what you're doing, but first things first. Um, Talk to us about well, first of all, talk to us about your football experience, your background. What kind of brings you to the great state of Texas? Because I know you had said that you're not originally from here. And I know you had said something about, your military service, which again, by the way, thank you for your military service. But talk to us about your background.
Oh yeah, so I'm originally from South Carolina. The military brought me here. So
we're at in South Carolina, real quick. My sister lives over there.
Sumter, around 30 minutes outside of Columbia, about an hour or so from Myrtle Beach and Charleston.
Okay,
depending on traffic.
So my sister, her husband, my brother-in-law, his family, they're from North Augusta.
Oh, okay.
That's
Right on the
where
border.
they live. So
Yeah, sometimes they're confused. Sometimes they want to be from Georgia. Sometimes they want to be from South Carolina.
no,
So,
they're pretty much the only time they're from Georgia is when they're rooting for the Bulldogs. So
uh-oh.
Okay,
Yeah, but
so
no,
South Carolina boy, military brings you here to San Antonio. What branch
correct.
did you serve in?
Army.
There you go. I think their sound is oh or something like that. I don't. I don't.
Nah, no, no, no.
I just say that because so I'm a diehard Packers fan, and we used to have a lot of military people that were all Packers fans going to this one sports bar. But because there was all different branches of the service being represented there, everybody kind of make their little like rally cry noise or whatever. And it was like, what are you guys doing? I don't get this culture. But it was always cool. So, anyways, so you're here. You are now officially a Texan, and we appreciate that, right? Um, but what brings you into the football world? What brings you into Texas your group?
Well, two things really. I was a part of an organization that tried to start a football franchise here last year. Things didn't go too well. A lot of things behind the scenes that I can't really even talk about because I don't really know what all happened.
Fair enough.
And going through a lot of experiences with my son in the football world. He was one of these guys that college really wasn't his thing, but he went because he loved to play football. He didn't see the field too much in his D1 days, but when he was in junior college, he came out like the number 2 receiver in the country.
Okay.
But again, when he went back to a 4-year, things just didn't gel too well. So just going through experiences with him. My son's 6'6", 210, like a 48-inch vertical.
oh
Good
jeez.
Lord.
But he's doing well. He's in Minnesota right now, playing with the Minnesota Monsters. So he's doing pretty
Oh,
well up there.
okay.
So,
Okay.
but all the dealings with him and his transition kind of put me in this mind frame. I wanted to be able to create something that guys could come and showcase their talents locally in the U.S. without having to really go overseas or and still be outdoor.
Very nice. Um, so you had said that one of the things that you're focused on is creating this culture um, where guys don't necessarily have to go to college to be able to have that opportunity to showcase their talents. That is that directly because of your son's experience, or um, what was the motivating factor behind that specific like target group?
Well, I'm not going to say don't go to college, but it's more of those that if they went and they couldn't get on the field per se, say reasons why grades or a lot of kids nowadays is attitude that forces them not to be on because they're not mature enough yet. They don't know how to handle the situation between the different coaches and the pressures of being on the field, schoolwork, and everything just yet. So it's mostly like those guys, and we will sprinkle in a few like high school guys who um, aren't college material, but those guys also got to realize they have to be in our program for 3 years before they can go to the NFL. NFL won't take anybody unless they're 3 years removed from high school. So that's one of the things they got to make sure we'll make sure we let people know. Not thinking they just gonna come here, play for a year or two, they're gonna try to catapult themselves up. Whereas, it's a process they still have to go through.
Okay, so would it be fair to say then that your opportunity is more than just sharpening the football skills, it's also developing uh, young people into young men. Would that be fair to say?
Correct, because a part of my program, I can't speak for all programs right now, but with mine, my guys will go through some financial literacy classes to teach them more about money, how they need to save or invest, or basically just the fundamentals of how money works. We'll also try to have a sports psychologist on staff to be able to talk with them if they're having issues related to sports and the stresses and how to deal with some of those things. So yeah, I'm trying to create a full-fledged developmental team. Try to hit all aspects of life. So when these guys, even if they don't make it in football, they'll still be better men coming out of it.
Man, that's really good to hear. I mean, I don't know how many times do we hear about players that make money, ridiculous amounts of money, and then they're bankrupt in a few years because they didn't have that financial training. They didn't have somebody showing them like how to not be stupid with your money. It's crazy how big of a deal that is, but it is, and that's something like that's great that you guys are providing that.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, learned a lot of lessons in the time being in the military.
Yeah. So what are your kind of, what are your long-term goals that you hope to achieve from this?
Uh, be around 10 years from now. That's that's the goal. That's my goal. My goal is for us as a league and as a team to have longevity and also build a lasting partnership with the communities that we play in.
Nice.
Okay. Now how do you how do you think y'all are going to achieve that? What kind of, what's your strategy for that?
Being involved. Trying to be involved in as many community activities as we possibly can be during the season and during the off seasons. Getting engulfed in with the chamber of commerces of the communities that we want to play in. Being in touch with the local council, being in touch with the school boards. Just letting the community know that we're there to be with them to help them out, not just to um, just see them on the Saturday or Sunday that we play. We want to be able to see them throughout the week and everything like that as well. Like I want to build a relationship to where a kid might see one of our players at a book signing or a little school fair, and they going home, they're telling their mom and their dad, "Hey, I met such and such that plays with the Texas Syndicate, and I want to go see them play next week." I want to build those kind of connections with everybody.
See, that's important that you bring that up. Um, I don't want to necessarily cast any stones or anything like that, but there was an organization that was here that the fans were kind of calling for actions just like that. And those things never seem to materialize. And I'm glad that you see the importance of that because a community is only going to support something like this as much as they're connected to it. If you're only seeing them one, maybe two times a week, if you're lucky, it for the 4 hours that a game is or whatever, you're not going to have as strong of a connection to that team. It's one of the things that we've talked about ad nauseum. It's one of the things that we kind of loved about the San Antonio Commanders was that they were here. The San Antonio Talents, they were here. You could go and talk to those folks. The San Antonio Gunslingers, indoor football team that's here now. After the game, you can go onto the field and actually talk to the players. So you get a real connection with those people. Now, are they going to remember every single person that came up to them and talked to them and asked for an autograph or a picture or something like that? Chances are probably not. But the people that are buying the tickets are going to feel that connection and they're going to feel a little bit more drawn to come to the next game. Like, especially if your team maybe isn't doing so well, such as the Dolphins, just throwing a little jab in there. But
You're
you're
just trying
going
to
to
get
be
punched
more
by my wife
driven.
next time she sees you, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, 100%. His wife is a hardcore Dolphins fan. But you're going to be driven to keep supporting the team, right? That's what makes those diehard fans diehard because they feel like they have skin in the game. So I like that you are addressing that and you're trying to connect that way and build on that. I love that.
Yes, sir. I mean, I'm from the country. I have a big family, and that's one of the things we always was raised up on is being out there with the community and being around our family. So I want to create the same family atmosphere within the community that we're going to be playing in.
That's great. That's
Excellent.
great to hear,
Excellent.
man. So you guys are playing up in Austin, correct?
In the Austin area, yes, sir.
Austin area. Do you kind of have like your the logistics kind of where y'all are going to be playing, practice and stuff like that? Or y'all still working on
We're
that?
still working on that a little bit. For this first year, we'll probably in a high school stadium, probably for the first year or two, just so we can get our feet wet. And we won't be able to really solidify anything with them until December timeframe when they bring out their spring schedule. So around December-ish, January, we'll know where we'll be playing at.
Okay.
Let me ask you this. I know you said you're, playing in high school stadiums right now. What would your ideal location look like? Would it be like a high school stadium, or are you looking more maybe like a college venue, or what are you looking to kind of be your prime spot?
Uh, I'll say a small, medium scale, probably 10, 15, 20,000, almost. Something a little bit more intimate. If we could get on the level as a Texas or Texas Tech or A&M, that would be awesome. But I will also be more realistic. I think us being in a smaller venue would be better for the community and better for the team. It'd be a lot easier for us to be up and close with the fans that way. If we if the league grows, then we might look at things that way. But for right now, a smaller, more intimate setting is pretty good for us.
Excellent, excellent. Um, so what was I gonna? I was just gonna ask an incredible question, and I totally blew it. I apologize. I
Okay.
hate
It's
that
gonna be
when you
the
have
best
that.
question ever asked too.
Yep. Um, so one of our fans in the audience asked, who's your closest rival? Like, how do you have your rivals set up? What do you have kind of going on with that part right there?
Well, I can't really say who our closest rivals are because the league haven't announced the rest of the teams. So
Okay.
Ah,
once the teams are announced, I think everybody will figure out who's going to be um, who our rival is going to be. I think it's going to be quite,
Okay.
huh.
quite, quite, quite obvious once the rest of the
Okay.
teams are announced.
Nice.
Interesting.
But I already
So
know right now the Ohio Valley man from West Virginia is my northern rivals right now, just because I know the head
okay.
coach and OC, and we're pretty good friends. So that's what I ultimately want to see at the end of the season, just to see how everything goes.
Okay. Um, Correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't the Ohio Valley Rivermen part of the Continental Football League?
Yes, that's what we're part of.
Oh,
We are the
okay.
league team in the Southern Division of the Continental Football League.
Okay. Excellent. So you're a part of something bigger. It's not just like, Texas Syndicate, a couple of teams here in Texas, and that's going to be it. Like this is a much bigger program.
Correct.
Excellent. Excellent. So well, with that being the case, obviously you're going to be dealing with talent from all over the United States. How are you going to do the evaluation process with evaluating talent, kind of finding the guys that you want on these teams here?
Well, one thing, we're trying to get a lot of local guys. That's our ultimate goal because of one of the premise of the league as itself is that we want to be a what you call a bus league. We want all our games to be within an 8 hour radius until playoff times. So therefore, we want a regional aspect to each team in each division. So it's key for us to try
Okay.
to find local players to fill our stadiums, or I mean, to fill our rosters. But we will have guys from outside of the state. Um, like I've had guys already contact me from Maine, Wisconsin, Jersey, a whole bunch of different places that I told them hold off a little bit. I'm not going to tell you no, but there are teams that will be announced closer to you soon that you might be able to work your way over to now. and things don't work out with you guys and those teams, then come back and talk with us and we'll see. But we're trying to get it to where our players, families, and those that want to see them play can come and see them play without putting a big financial burden on them.
Oh, that's good. So mainly y'all are recruiting regionally, but you will go out if needed. But
Oh yeah, we will
primarily you guys are looking for regional, players in the area. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, like I have a few players outside of the region already talking, ready to do their thing. But for the most part, we would like to have people internal. Now, if I don't find people internal, or they're it might take a little while to build the reputation that a lot of kids will want to come and play with us. So we're gonna have to field 18, but we're just gonna play everything by ear.
Very cool. Have you guys announced your coaching staff or anything like that yet?
That will be coming soon. We got a few things in the works. We should be making one or two announcements within the next week or two.
Any
Nice.
teasers or kind of little tidbits you like to share? If you can't, totally understand.
This would be. I just put my coaching staff will probably be a little bit different than a lot of the other coaching staffs because like me, I'm new at this. I'm new to team. I'm new to being at my owner or even trying to get into this realm. So my goal is really to try to give guys an opportunity to do what they love. So my names might not be big name splashes like some of the other teams may have, but I think they're going to be able to do what we need to do.
Nice. Okay, and then I believe I saw this on your Facebook page, but you have a combine coming up very soon, don't you?
Actually, Sunday.
Nice.
We have one Sunday in League City.
Very cool. I'm sorry it's over in the Houston area, but that's cool.
We want to represent the state in its fullity. So we will have tryouts in most of the major cities. San Antonio, Austin, Dallas, and we're doing the one in Houston this weekend.
Excellent. Well, I'm very excited to hear about that. And we will definitely want to make sure that, we're there to maybe check out the combines here in San Antonio and report on that a little bit. Maybe even the Austin one, right? We did something similar when the UFL had their combine in Orlando. We basically all took a trip over there, interviewed a lot of the players that were coming in and coming out. We actually met a young gentleman by the name of Caleb Samuel.
Mhm.
If you get a chance, maybe look him up, see what he's doing. Just because I don't know that he necessarily got a fair shake with a previous deal. He went to the combine and was injured and still put up incredible numbers. And
he had a tweaked ankle and was still the fastest of the entire wide receiver secondary group. So
yeah. So just give him a look. Caleb Samuel, and we can send you his contact information offline. Just because we don't want a bunch of people spamming him and bothering the poor young man.
That works.
So got another question from XFL Mike G. When's the season run?
All right, so our season runs from May hopefully around the second or third week of May to championship games should be around July 4th. We have a shorter season because of the fact that we want to have our guys' film out and ready for NFL training camps and mini camps and everything. So we want to have all our evaluations done, ready to be packaged out and shipped out by the time they start up.
Nice. So you're talking about, having the guys ready kind of around, July or so. With your season being a little bit later and having guys kind of in game shape a little bit closer to, when preseason and stuff starts in the NFL, how do you think that's going to affect things like, injuries and performance and stuff like that from your athletes? Do you think that is going to be a benefit to them, or could this be a hindrance to their opportunities to get into the big show?
Well, hopefully it won't be a hindrance. Football is football. There will be some injuries, regardless of what we do. But hopefully our guys are taking care of themselves during the off seasons, training now, and be training before they come to us. Once they get to us, we will also be introducing to nutritionists, try to make sure their eating habits and everything are on par to make sure their bodies are able to regenerate. Actually, once we solidify our training camp rosters, we'll probably start having meetings with those guys and start kicking some of that stuff out to them already to make sure they're in shape and they're ready by the time they get to us in May.
That's actually awesome. And that kind of takes one of the questions that we were going to lead into kind of off the table. But what I was going to ask was kind of what your plans were for, player development, like your strategies and stuff. So obviously it sounds like you have, nutritionists, you're going to have the sports workouts, you're going to have all the drills and everything like that you would normally have. I'm assuming there's probably going to be some other things that you probably don't want to reveal too much because you don't want to share too many secrets. But there's going to be a little extra, I'm sure, probably going into the player development to try and make sure that these young men are at the absolute peak that they can be in. Yes? Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, I don't really think it's no secrets going on. I mean, football is football. You got to train. You got to have the right people in on the right places. So we're pretty transparent about everything. So yeah, we got to make sure they're right up. Our season's a little bit different because we only get 1 week of an off season or training camp. So that's one of the main reasons why starting January, February timeframe, we start having meetings a little bit early off just to get everybody accustomed to us. Coaching staff, they will be instructed. Well, my general manager will be instructed to make sure the coaching staff is aware that around February timeframe, they need to start having Zoom meetings with anybody that we've contacted and we're trying to bring in the training camp.
So with that, just the training camp, I mean, these guys really have to be take the incentive to get in shape themselves, stay in shape.
Yes.
You can't come into training camp out of shape if you only got a 1 week training camp.
Correct.
You might as well just not show up.
And I hope they don't do that. It is very, very talked about beforehand. Like the quarterback that we signed, one of the quarterbacks that we have on roster right now works out constantly. 8:00, he's in the gym from 8 to around, I think he said around 8 to 11. He's in the gym, go home, take a shower, eat, go to work, and then goes back to the gym when he gets off work at 9:00 in the evening. So he's
Nice.
making sure he's ready for everything. He's ready for his opportunity. I'm hoping that he'd be there for us. He has a UFL tryout in a few weeks down in Houston. I wish him well. I hope a team picks him up. I hope I have a good problem. I'm gonna have to find another one, but if not,
You hope he gets picked up, but you wouldn't be too upset
that's
if
the
he
goal.
doesn't.
That's the goal, man. I tell players now. I've talked to a lot of players, and they were like, "Well, we like what you're saying, but we want to do the UFL tryouts." And I'm like, "Go for it.
Yeah.
You're not locked in with me until May. If you can find you a spot earlier in a bigger league, that's all. That's what we're here for. We're not here to hoard players. We're here to get them, help them out, and ship them off to bigger and better things." So I think it takes a lot of. I think it takes a lot of the kids I talk to by surprise when I tell them that. But I mean, it's just the fact of the matter. Our goal is to get them into a better place. If you can get to a better place without us, the more the better. I mean, I hope that we don't see you. I hope you can get up there without us. But if not, we are like that blanket or that fallback plan to try to come back and see if we can. Excuse me. My wife's home, so my dog's about to act up. So let me let them out real quick and I'll be right back.
Okay. So while let's make sure that the dogs don't go crazy here and we pick them up. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, sorry.
All right, Quincy, you are back, sir.
Yeah, my wife travels for work, so every time she comes back in, they go crazy. Like they haven't seen her in months, and she could be gone for a day. It's ridiculous.
Nice. Well, I mean, I can't say much. Before we actually went live, you saw my animals going crazy. That cat that has like 6 toes. It's the craziest thing ever. So we
I,
get it, man.
I,
You're
I heard the
animal lovers.
barking. I thought it was one of your dogs. So
I mean, you're probably not wrong. They have acted up before. But anyways, so it sounds like, there's oh look, Sabrina even said that also, right?
yeah.
Sounds like our dogs. And that's my girlfriend Sabrina, by the way. Um, so back on topic, you have a plan, you also have accountability from the players, right? Because they have to come into training camp in shape. Like you're creating the opportunities for them, but they have to put in the work also because if they come into training camp out of shape, I'm assuming they're probably not going to last very long, right?
Oh yeah, they're not gonna make it.
Okay.
They won't make roster. It's real simple. I will tell everybody. Like I said, I tell everybody I'm real blunt. This is your opportunity. You got to come in ready for it. And if you're not, you will get sent home. It's real simple. I mean, I'd rather have 29 guys that are in shape and ready to play than 40 guys that are mediocre, for lack of better words. I mean,
Yeah.
with me being 23 years in the military, I know how to do more with less. It is a very taught skill set that we learn to do more with less, and I'm kind of taking that into this approach. I mean, this is an opportunity. We are giving people opportunity. I mean, we are um, we're doing a lot of things to give them this opportunity. Like I'm retired. I'm a disabled vet. This is not something that I really have to do. It's something that I want to do. So if I'm giving you this opportunity and putting, my wife's ability to take trips on hold because I'm spending money making sure we have equipment for camps and doing everything like that, I expect you to come in the camp in shape and ready to do what you got to do. Because I'm getting cussed out on a daily basis because she can't take her trips, and I'm using our money for something else. But I just expect them to be in shape. I mean, it's really just that simple.
Completely understood, man. And rightfully so, right? If you're going to try and make a career out of this, you need to take it seriously. You need to be committed. You need to do all the things. And there's something to be said about Ironman football, right? That was a big thing not that terribly long ago. I mean, I guess it probably is for the younger generation, but for me and BD, I mean,
Yeah.
we kind of remember some of that Ironman football stuff.
Oh, I
And
remember
okay,
playing
well,
receiver,
well,
receiver on offense, DB on defense. You're
Yep.
not getting out the field 9 times out of 10 if you're good. And we weren't specialized like everybody is now, or have like 3 or 4 people to be able to come in and sub in. We had to do our own thing.
yep. And it sounds, I mean, there's, I can't remember the young man's name, but there is one person who just got drafted, and I can't remember what team it was. BD, you
You're talking
probably
about
remember.
the Jags player.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
Travis,
plays offense and defense, and
Travis
people are
Hunter.
like, "Oh my God," you know, Th- that's the kind of work ethic and mentality that these young men need to see because that's what it's going to take. Like you have to be willing to put in the work and be willing to fight for every single inch that you can get because the odds are significantly against you getting to that level, right? So you got to be the toughest dog in the fight. You don't have to be the best, you got to be the toughest,
True.
right?
Heart takes you a long way.
It does, it does. So that being the case, obviously, again, we talked about you've got the training camps coming up and everything like that. Um, is there anything else that you would like to share with our guests about kind of what is going to set your league apart from some of these other ones, besides some of the things we talked about, like the personal connections and things?
Um, One of the other things I think is going to set us apart a little bit. Each team will have opportunities for the fans to have partial ownership.
Wait a minute, what?
Now, not a controlling interest, but they will have opportunities to have partnerships with the team, either through revenue sharing or something to that effect.
So something kind of similar to my beloved Green Bay Packers, where
Just like with your
you can
beloved
buy
Green Bay
stock in
Packers.
the team. Okay,
Yes.
perfect. See, I like that because that also gets buy-in and commitment from the
Yeah.
fans as well, right? I mean, I'm a shareholder. I absolutely love the fact that I'm a shareholder. And it wasn't even like buying in because I'm going to get something out of it other than the pride and glory of saying that I'm a shareholder, right? There's no financial dividends for me or anything like that necessarily with owning Green Bay stock. But dang it, I own a part of the team. I am a shareholder. I am a true part of the team now. And for us Green Bay fans, anyways, there's just something special about that. So I really like the fact that you guys are kind of embracing not necessarily that exact same idea, um, but along those lines and trying to make it your own to get that commitment from the fans and showing your commitment to the fans, right? Because that's a
Yes.
two-way street. Um, if you're asking money from the fans to buy in on the stuff, you have to be able to produce a pretty good quality product. And it sounds like that's what your focus is on. So I got to say, man, that I really excited to hear about that.
Yeah, that's one aspect, and it's one other thing that we'll be a little bit different. Is what we're calling I said the commissioner is calling the continental shift. So we are also trying to partner. They're also in the works of partnering with the CFL. So one of the things that was announced by the league today is during our fourth quarter, we shift to Canadian League rules.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, what I mean, obviously, besides partnering with the CFL and maybe getting the well, let me ask you this: what is the reason behind that fourth quarter shift?
So it will give the Canadian Football League a way to evaluate our players. Like I said,
Okay,
we're trying to get players in whichever league is bigger than ours. And what better way to show another league that you are really serious about partnering with them and letting them be able to evaluate our talent, then to adapt some of their rules so you can actually see how our players will progress in your league or in your situations. Like I said, time clock will be shortened from 40 seconds to 20 seconds. We're going from 4 downs to 3. And I really still don't understand the whole kicking aspect of
So
it.
I was gonna ask, are
No,
y'all
we're
gonna
not
like
changing the field size. Okay, we can't change the
are
field
y'all gonna
size.
introduce like what is it, the rouge or however they say
The
it?
rules, yeah. But you remember the Canadian Football League is coming down to our size field in the
Yeah,
next 2
yeah,
years.
they are changing field
So
sizes next year. Or not this coming season, but
yeah,
the
the
season
season
after
after.
that.
Yeah. So that's one thing I think was very smart on our commissioners' on behalf of trying to implement that system so that we can our guys can get more notoriety and looking into guys from Canada. Because also when our season ends, it's right when Canada is at their halfway point and they look to bring in players from the US. So when we that's
that's
it's a reason why we are ending so early and not trying to take this throughout the whole summer. We are really gearing ourselves up to be a developmental league, trying to get these guys better opportunities. We're not trying to keep them in longer than need be, and the chances of getting them hurt. We're playing anywhere from 6 to 8 games, get good quality film, and send everything out.
okay. Very interesting. Very
Yeah,
interesting. Man, I'm intrigued now. I'm not gonna lie. Like I knew some of the aspects of what you guys were doing, but I'm very intrigued now. And man, Quincy, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us tonight. You've got my interest very much piqued, and I'm very interested to see where this is going and what's going to be going on in the next couple of months for sure.
Hey man,
So
we're trying. We're trying. We're trying to make sure that we're here, we're valuable, and we're gonna put out a product that everybody wants to see.
very
No, that's
nice.
awesome.
So I probably a good time to go ahead and segue into this last part. You obviously have a lot going on with the Texas Syndicate and the obviously the Continental Football League that you're partnered with now. How can people find out more about what's going on?
Follow our social medias. Texas Syndicate Football on all platforms, or Texas Syndicate FB on all platforms. We will. That's where all our information will come out in, or follow the league page, the COFL.com. I think is the league page. Let me see. I don't really go to the
Uh,
league page too often because I usually hear everything straight from the commissioner. Oh yeah, so it's CO. Yeah,
Trying to look it up real quick.
COFLfootball.com.
Okay.
And
Yep, CLFL
also
football.
on the commissioners on the league page, it gives the history of everything of the whole league. Gives the stories about the San Antonio Toros and how good they were, and shows how
Oh,
ties how Texas was tied into the league from the beginning. So we're just trying to continue that tradition.
And that was it. Was the Continental. That was a league that ran in the '60s, didn't
In the
it?
'60s, yes,
Like mid '60s. That it ran for several seasons.
correct.
hmm
Yes,
yeah.
I
So
think I'm probably one of the only teams that didn't take a original name. Um, but I mean, you got to have some new blood into some things that you revamp. Got to have at least one or two new kids on the block.
you do. So one of our other fans is asking a question here. Will there be any teams in the Northeast USA area?
Yes, there should be four teams up in the north, and there will be four teams in the south. Um,
Okay.
for to start off with, the commissioner and the league ownership are having very, very positive talks with a bunch of teams right now. We really want to make sure. Basically, the reason why we don't have a lot of teams now is the commissioner and the league owner really want to get the right fit of people into the league. We really want to make sure that we have people that follow or can envision what our leadership team wants in the league, and will follow what we want to do with our players. And it kind of takes a very long time to vet out. We're just not interested in just putting teams in for the sake of putting teams in. We want teams and leadership groups and management teams that are actually going to represent everybody well and have the players in best interest.
Okay. And I'm assuming this is probably goes without saying, but making sure you're doing your market research and knowing the areas that you're trying to establish teams in, knowing the cultures, and knowing kind of how to connect with those fan bases on a much deeper level to get that stronger support. Yes.
Correct. Like I said, the
Nice.
goal is to be in the smaller communities. So to give those guys something to root for and it'd be easier to build a good relationship with. Like we might have a few teams in a couple of big markets, but the majority of our teams will probably be in the smaller towns, smaller communities.
Very nice. Well, and
So
I
do
think
you?
that
I
that's
mean, do you have any kind of when the rest of the team announcements? Obviously, you said you guys may make some coaching announcements in the near future, but just kind of where we see the rest of the league is kind of gonna play out.
Um, I think around everybody should be announced by December 1st.
Okay.
The league is at January 1st is the latest, but I think by December 1st, we should have everything pretty much ironed out to where the league will be announcing everything that needs to be announcing.
Well, we'll definitely
very
be
nice.
looking out for those announcements.
Yeah,
So
we're definitely excited about that. So again, folks, check out Texas Syndicate on Facebook. Make sure you're following them on all the different social medias. And not that I'm trying to get rid of you. I could probably sit here and talk to you about this all night long, but we do still have to talk about some NFL and some college and stuff like that. And it's going to be super, super condensed. And I don't want to keep you here all night long, right? This has been an absolute honor to have you on the show and talk about the Texas Syndicate. Like I said, I'm excited. I'm very interested to see what's going on. I almost feel like I have my love for football back, and that's a good thing, right? So again, folks, make sure that you follow them on Texas
Yep.
Syndicate on Facebook, all the different socials. Like I said, Continental Football League, follow them as well. There's obviously going to be a bunch of news coming out in the next couple of months, and that's an exciting thing, right? We always like seeing news coming out and things to talk about and things to kind of get our teeth into and really kind of focus on. So Quincy, again, thank you so very much for your time. I appreciate it, man. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
thank you. Thank you for joining us and talking to us and kind of, going over all the stuff. Fantastic having you.
Yeah. Thank you for having us, man. Y'all can have anybody on here y'all want. Y'all chose to have us, so we really appreciate it.
We'll definitely stay close to us, man. We'd love to have you on, just as you're kind of announcing more stuff, man. We'd love to bring you back on.
I'm right down the street. I'm in Cibolo, so if you ever need anything, just let me know.
Well, there you go.
We'll definitely be reaching out. I promise you.
Thank you, Quincy.
All right.
Thank you.
Quincy, have a great night, man. God bless.
Same to you.
Okay. So BD, it's you and I now. And man, I gotta say again, I'm excited, right? That's that gets the curious blood flowing. I have a bunch more questions. I have a bunch more things that I want to ask and find out. But unfortunately, I also know that there's only so much that Quincy can tell us because we're not part of the league.
Hasn't
We
been
don't work
announced
for the
yet,
league,
so
right? So we don't have all the skinny on everything. But as it comes out, fans, we will make sure that we share that with you. It's always nice to have different football leagues to talk about and things to share and kind of connect with, right? Football is a big part of our lives. That's what started the show in the first place. And so it's nice to have that additional opportunity to be able to talk more about football here in Texas. That being the case, let's go ahead and jump into football in general. Let's start out with the NFL, right? Uh B, I gotta ask you, man, what happened last week?
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. It's, same thing that's happened in every freaking game. Our defense sucks. Our defense is absolutely terrible. People like all hyped about after whatever week 5 it was because we beat the Jets. They suck, and Cowboys are coming back. Cowboys coming back. Bro, we beat the Giants with Russell Wilson. Not the Giants now, because the Giants now with Jackson Dart, that actually look pretty decent. And then we beat the
Yep.
Jets, with who Justin Fields. Yeah, Jets sucked, Giants sucked. So no wonder we won those games. Yeah, I mean, we lost to the freaking Panthers. We're terrible. We lost to the Bears. They're terrible.
The Bears.
God, dude. I mean, dude, I'm our defense can't stop anybody. We let Uncle Rico run and pass and had like 250, 275 all-purpose yards or something.
That was really surprising. And what I would like to know is if the former Green Bay Packer, Kenny Clark, was in that game and what his role was, because one of the reasons why I was upset about
His role
Parsons,
was this.
I mean, he may have ushered the guy through. I mean, it is Uncle
Dude,
Rico. So
that was
again,
the entire defense. Just go ahead. Just go on through.
I can't say anything.
He
That's
he
just
played
not like
he had one tackle.
okay. And that's not like Clark. Something obviously things were not clicking for you.
I'm just at this point I'm wondering why Matt Eberflus still has a job. I mean, we're at week 6, by far the worst defense in the league. And, I just the offense looks good. The offense is clicking. Dak is playing good. Pickens looks great, just kind of taking over as the number one receiver in Lamb's absence. The running game was good, but had a pretty crappy run game this past week. But other than that, dude, this defense is just absolutely terrible. So
Yeah. I don't disagree. I was very surprised watching that game. The little bit that I did get to see, it was like, what is going on here? Right. And I will admit, Dart with the Giants really kind of changes that team. As we saw against the Eagles, who were 4-1 going into that game, and they catch an L in a serious way against the
yeah.
Giants.
Oh yeah.
So I don't want to put the cart before the horse. Um, but I was very surprised by this performance. I'm not going to get super excited and say that the Jets are the Jets, the Giants are going to do anything spectacular. But this is kind of new life for the team. I mean, let's be honest.
I imagine they'll probably come back down to earth and realize that they're the Giants, and their coach is terrible. People will figure out Dart and King concussion Scatterboo, which I mean that guy's fun to watch, but dude, he's gonna play like 2 years in the league and he's gonna have 15 concussions and have to retire.
I mean,
But
maybe. I don't know. I think,
it's gonna be an exciting 2 years that he plays though.
bro, I think that skull is a lot thicker than what people are giving him credit for. And
Dude, he is testing the thickness of that skull every
oh,
single play, and he don't give a damn.
that guy is awesome,
He
man.
said he's every run, every play. He's like, I'm here for a good time, not a long time.
Yep. And I hope he gets both. I hope he's here for a good time, gets that good time, and he's here for like 10, 15 years, man. I want to see it, dude. I want to see him all.
He is fun to watch. He is real fun to watch.
Yes. He is not like any running back that I can think of. I mean, it is insane. He just does not care. Speaking of kind of not caring, I was really surprised about a game that I really didn't care about. Broncos and Jets. I can't believe it was that close. You know?
I saw something. There was the last like 5 Broncos Jets games have all been like 9-10 or 10-12 games, all been within that score. And so the post was basically like, all right, the next Broncos Jets game needs to be played at 3:30 a.m. on the Weather Channel because nobody wants to watch this crap.
True, true. It's almost as bad as our tie, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
elsewhere, I was really surprised. The Dolphins actually had a pretty good game against the Chargers. They did wind up losing by 2, but it was close, man. They looked like a much better team. I was very, very surprised
They
by
did.
that.
They looked good. Got close to the Chargers, but I don't know if you heard Tua's press conference kind of afterwards. He kind of threw Mike McDaniels under the bus a little bit, just kind of calling out his leadership.
Oh,
Basically saying that's the cause of the team's woes is leadership from the top. And you got to wonder when your quarterbacks start saying stuff like that publicly, how much time does the head coach have?
if if you've lost the quarterback, you don't have very much time left at all. I would say a matter of weeks, probably 2, 3 at the most. If they don't turn it around, he's gone. And uh
But I
Tua,
mean, is Tua really a quarterback that you want to like fall on the sword for? I don't know. Maybe he may just think it's a sinking ship and say, "Hey, this is my chance to try and get off of it." But I don't know.
Richard, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And it's truly a labor of love here. We really enjoy doing this.
Oh
And
yeah,
having a team, not having a team, it stinks not having a team, but we love football. That's the biggest thing. And so we're going to keep doing this no matter what. Okay.
yep.
Packers Bengals. We're going to just highlight this real quick. Uh, that game is very deceptive. Do not let it fool you. I watched it and arguably had a good game, right? Um, our offense pretty much had a really good game. Like Love went 19 to 26, 259 yards, averaged 9.96 yards per pass, right? He did have one uh, interception and he was sacked once, which is surprising it was only once, right? Because that offensive line is looking like Swiss cheese, man. I mean, it is horrible. Jacobs almost had a 100-yard game. I'm very surprised by that. And Matthew Golden, right? We've talked about this. Matthew Golden, it was an untapped weapon. And Cincinnati did not double cover him like other teams have. When they didn't double cover him, he lit them up. And so
Really?
3 receptions, 86 yards total. And
Oh, nice.
I take it back. There was one big play he got that he was double covered, and Love was able to put it on target in between the two defenders, right in Golden's hand. He was able to make a juke move and get separation, and he didn't take it to the house, but he got probably like I think that was that 35-yard play that uh, I'm thinking of. Of course, Romeo Dobbs was out there with the big helmet. Tucker Kraft, absolute maniac. I think he and Scattaboo must be friends. It, it looked like a pretty decent overall showing, but that interception, man, I'm telling you, he was scrambling. He knew the target that he was throwing it to was in double coverage. He should have never thrown that ball, and he threw it on target to the underneath guy. And it was like, what are you doing? Things like that. This is not like his rookie year. He should know not to make those mistakes. Even I think it was this game. Maybe it might have been last or not last week's game because we had a bye. But the week prior, Bert Favre, right? Good old Bert was on the sidelines and was cheering him on, you know? And I think he taught him a little bit too much because that was a Bert Favre move, thinking you're so much better than what you are. You put it on the wrong target, but then you come back and you throw 3 more touchdowns. That's the Burt Favre, right? And Love didn't
Yeah.
necessarily do that. So again, oh yes, and that was the other thing I wanted to talk about, right? Our kicker is kind of messed up right now. He's on the IR. I don't know for how long. But we had to scramble. We brought this cat in who was a UFL kicker, and let me see if I can find him. I gotta find him. Because
This was the guy. Wasn't you said he was kicking with Arlington last year,
yes,
and then he was about to start, like he was teaching, like
he had a gig as a substitute teacher while he was trying to find a
yeah,
real job. And Green Bay called him up and we're like, hey
a
man,
real job. Like you're about to get dragged, Jay. I mean, substitute teachers are real jobs too. All
no,
right.
not what I'm talking about is I don't think he was planning on being a substitute teacher, right? Now, if he would have fallen into that and become a teacher, hey man, honorable profession, absolutely nothing but respect for our teachers. It doesn't sound like that was what he was necessarily planning on doing, right? Because he even like the way the interviews have gone was that he was kind of like, oh well, I was going to be a substitute teacher for a little while, and like he didn't seem super excited about it. Okay, cool, not his passion, whatever. Looks like it worked out. Our guy got hurt. Haversick comes in. He's 2 for 2. Longest was 43. I mean, the guy was actually, I don't think he was 2 for 2. I want to say he was 5 of 5, but I'd have to
But
go back and
that's probably including extra points as well.
yeah, but he was money all day, right? Um, and yeah, um,
No, we try
but
to stick up for him. All right.
well,
Let him dig his own hole. All right.
yeah, it's an honest profession, but um, I want to say, hang on, let me look at.
Oh. He went to go look and decide to get off.
Nope, I'm right here. So
How to go going to go look.
it didn't go well. Obviously, they kicked me off the interwebs. I want to say Cincinnati's kicker was a former UFL kicker as well. I'm not sure, but Here's the other thing I wanted to bring up. Um, he went for the longest outdoor kick minus that 70-yarder, right? We had a 70-yarder that went through, but it didn't count, right? He went for a 67-yarder. McPherson did. It hit the crossbar and flipped over. Had that one counted, that would have been the new record, but it didn't count because we called a timeout, kept him from doing it. So his next kick,
Oh,
he shanked it, right? It went wide right. But I'm almost willing to put money on this bet, but I'm willing to bet that we're going to start seeing this more and more. The 60 something, the long 50, short 60s are starting,
oh,
they're going to
of
become a
course,
regular
yeah,
thing.
absolutely. I mean, even like 10 years ago, a coach was crazy to go for a 52 yarder. You know, now it's just like, man, whatever. Oh, 60 yards. Yeah, sure. I'll try 60. And, you've got, Brandon Aubrey and all these other kickers that, yeah, 60, even Nick Folk, who's been in the league for 20 damn years, he's nailing 62-yard field goals and stuff. So, yeah, it's definitely, you know, it's becoming a weapon. I mean, especially with, the kickoff rules, you get the ball to 35, you get 15, 20 yards, and you're in field goal range for a lot of these guys.
Yeah,
So that's a major weapon.
definitely. So anyways, yeah, that was just kind of crazy, coincidental stuff, but uh
They're not juice. They're just not. They're not like roughed up like regular balls are. Like they're kind of fresh out of the box a little bit.
yeah. So, obviously not as beaten up, a little bit, less the leather's a little bit less flexible, so you can put more of that power kind of transfers into it rather than it kind of collapsing.
Yeah.
Um, like Brady, with the inflated balls, because this is the opposite though. But again, overall, good game. I still stand by my statement that we got ripped off with Parsons. Not again, I haven't seen like this incredible showing from him. I think we paid way too much. Now, I say we got ripped off in the sense that we paid way too much. He's a great player. He's a good asset. I still think we invested way too much in him, and it.
I mean, you're seeing the Cowboys defense with him not there again. Maybe he doesn't get the sacks or the tackles that you would think an amazing defender does, but
Mhm.
what he does is he collapses the pocket. He puts pressure on the line, disrupts the play. He allows the secondary to be a little more aggressive where they normally wouldn't, just because you know he if they got to get rid of the ball quick or he's going to get a sack. So you're seeing that the Cowboys defense not having that type of player, that the secondary is constantly getting burned. So that, like I said, it doesn't always factor in with sacks or tackles, but he's still a play disruptor.
I mean, I can kind of see that. But Brown went off 9 attempts, 42 yards. Not maybe not the greatest showing, but he's getting past the line of scrimmage where Parsons should be, right? And you can't really talk about pressure on Flacco because it's Flacco, right? I mean, come on, right? Flacco feels pressure just walking out onto the field. So I mean, you just don't know. Anyways,
Well, that at his age, that's a whole other kind of pressure. I mean,
that's true. Uh, and maybe right. Anyways, back on target here. I think this game really kind of shows that Packers still have a lot to figure out. Right now, they're kind of middle of the pack, maybe a little bit uh, top third, but that's kind of about it. I wouldn't put them too much farther. Lions lost, so that kind of helps us out. I appreciate that. Thank you, Chiefs. Uh, Falcons. Falcons actually beat the Bills. That was a very interesting game.
That was surprising.
Now, the one and proof positive that, you know, when Wisconsin has a bad sports day, Wisconsin has a bad sports day, right? Brewers lost last night, right? Game one of the National League Championship Series, and the Bears won. The Bears of all teams, and it was. I mean, the Bears looked. I don't know. I mean, it was. They were up and down
I
the
mean, they
whole
look
entire
decent. They
time.
didn't, they didn't look terrible. Obviously, the reason they won is because Jane Daniels like fumbled the ball, like he just
It it
trying
was.
to hand it off, and I mean you could just see that ball was just slick and just kind of popped out of his hands. But
Yep.
hey, you know what? I'm a Bears fan. I'm taking it.
Oh, exactly. Um, that snap was okay, but he fumbled it trying to get possession of it to then hand it off and basically just passed it underneath the running back's arm and it just shot out and it was horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I mean the running back had no chance to get that. So
no, it was bad. But anyways, okay, so some interesting football, right? Uh I'm glad the Packers won, but it's almost like I mean I hate to say it, but I kind of expected a little bit more. Especially considering it's the Bungles. So next week, right? Thursday night game, Bengals against Pittsburgh. Father Time is going to be playing in that game. It'd be interesting to see, right? I wonder if Rogers is going to do another one of those, kind of moves, you know,
the
he'll
tush push stand back.
yes, yes, you got to love it, right? Um, Miami's playing Cleveland this weekend. Uh,
And they may actually get a win.
yes, shotgun in the rain. Perfect idea. And then you see what happens, right? So Miami might get a win this weekend. Minnesota is going to be playing Philadelphia, and Philadelphia is going to be salty because they obviously lost to a team that they probably shouldn't have. So that's going to be a pretty good game to watch. My Green Bay Packers are taking on Arizona. They, but you guys have a rivalry game
We
against the
do.
Commanders. And so that might be a pretty good game to watch, right? And then, of course, Frisco is taking on Atlanta. That should be potentially another good game. And then our Monday night game, I hate to say it, but I'm kind of surprised and kind of looking forward to this one, right? You got 5-1 Tampa
I'm
Bay.
looking. You're talking about the Lions and Bucks, right? That's gonna be. Looks like it's gonna be a fun game.
Yeah.
Bucks
Uh,
are good, dude. They're
Baker Mayfield, baby.
uh, dude. I think right now, I mean, they're what number one seed in the NFC, and they're absolutely playing like it.
Yeah.
Um, I'll tell you what. I noticed this year, Monday night, they've had a lot of double headers or a lot of two games going on. It seems like more so than they have in years past. Like
Oh,
they
yeah.
had yesterday they had two games. This is probably
This is like the
it's
second or
week
third time.
7. Week 7. This is at least the fourth two games they've had on Monday night.
Yep. And I know they're doing it again next week. And it's going to be, a little bit of a time shift. They're basically going to be back to back, right?
So I don't like them doing this the kickoff one after the other. I like the hour split between the kickoffs. If it's especially a game that I don't really care about, one of them's playing, I can watch the one that I care about and just kind of follow the other one and just kind of flip back and forth,
Yeah,
during commercials or halftime or whatever. But I mean, dude, I'm old. All right, you need to kick off at 9 o'clock at night. That game's not gonna be over till midnight. My ass is gonna be tired. So
true,
Texans Seahawks. Sorry, I'm probably not staying up for that game.
true. Again, though, with the time zone differences and all that crap, I mean, they're getting a decent time start over on the West Coast. It's not going to be
Yeah,
so much fun for us. But
no.
just watch the highlights the next day; it'll be fine. Anyway,
But then again, on the West Coast, you've got the West Coast people. They've got Bucks and Lions kicking off at 4 o'clock their time. So
yeah,
on a Monday.
yeah.
So
So I feel kind of bad for them. But you know what? Oh well. It's football.
oh,
Deal with it. Okay. Moving back a
I
little
just
bit.
spent a week and a half with those people, and I don't feel bad for them at all.
Yeah. Moving back a little bit more regional. We had October. Okay, so Bobcats played Troy this last weekend. I don't know if we talked about them. No, we actually didn't talk about them the week before because that was the UFL episode. Bobcats have taken 2 losses in a row now. They're at 3-3, and some tough opponents. Don't get me wrong, and the games were fairly close. I mean, they lost to Arkansas State 31-30. They lost to Troy 48-41. And the games are fairly close, but the season seems to be going the exact opposite way that it started. They seem to be on a tear. They took care of UTSA no problem, and I mean it was a shootout, but it never looked like they were in a point where their backs were up against the wall, right? Um, things are getting kind of shaky here, middle of the season. They're going to be going up against the Thundering Herd this next weekend. Both teams are 3-3. So maybe this is the time where they kind of tweak things and maybe make some adjustments and try and change some of their personnel on the field, see if maybe they can come up with a little bit better structure. We'll have to see, right? We also UIW. Let me see. We didn't talk about them 2 weeks ago. Where are we at? Boom, boom, boom. Okay, that was last week. They played Stephen F. Austin. They lost to Stephen F. Austin 31-17. And then they had a bye week this last week. They'll be playing East Texas A&M this next weekend. And their season has been a little bit rough also. And so surprising considering how well they did last year. This year they're a little bit on the struggle bus. So, if they plan on, being in a conference championship game like they were last year, they're probably going to have to turn things around. Now, the one I definitely want to talk about, and I won't spend too much time talking about it, but I got to talk about the UTSA game. I've got to talk about it, right? Rice has always been one of those games where you want to see him do well. And there have been some great back and forth games, and I don't remember what the current record is the amount of times that they played Rice, but I know Rice has always been one of those ones where you kind of get hyped up for it. This was also homecoming for the Roadrunners. First quarter, watched them. They went up, scored the first touchdown. Okay, pretty cool, right? If I remember correctly, I think Rice kind of rallied back and they scored 3 points, right? And yes, honey, new school record. We'll talk about that in just a second. But Rice kicked a field goal. Okay, looking pretty good. UTSA peeled off another touchdown. Okay, 14-3, looking pretty solid. This might be a pretty decent game. And then they peeled off another touchdown in the first quarter. And I'm like, wait a minute. Like, what the heck's going on? This is not the UTSA team that I've seen in the past several weeks. Things were just working. Everybody was on point. They were just tearing it up. Then obviously they scored 17 in the second quarter, 23 in the third quarter. And then at that point, I think they were putting in the second and third stringers. They didn't score anything in the fourth quarter. And I feel really bad for Rice,
No, you don't.
but they had two in this regard, I do. In this regard, I do. They had two of their quarterbacks get injured. They had to go to the third stringer, and he wasn't very good. So it was a rough game for Rice fans, and there was a couple of Rice fans that were in the stands that were vocal, right? A little bit excitable. They were kind of yelling at their team, and I get it. I get it. Um, but they weren't like super supportive. And I kind of, was like, okay, I mean, I get it, whatever. Here's the thing that surprised me though. That UTSA culture is not what we're used to with the San Antonio Brahmas at all. It is just a different thing. Third down, they kind of get loud in the sense that stomping feet. Oh yeah, and here's another thing. Forgot about this. Two players from Rice got ejected as well. For one was for targeting, one was for I think unsportsmanlike conduct or something like that. And Mike G is 100% right. I was in 135, row 5 with some friends. And I'm looking down at 134 seats, was it 13 or 14, 15, and 16, I think
Yeah.
ours were. There were people in those seats, and I'm like, that's not your seat. Get out of my seat, you know? Oh, here's what it was. Yeah, he pushed the ref, which is a naughty, naughty no. But people don't necessarily get crazy like we did. And so it's just a little bit different, have to make a little bit different adjustments. But I was proud of some of the people that were behind me because I got them to start doing the fake cadence calls. So I think with some minor adjustments, we can get the fan base a little bit more lively there at the UTSA games. And I think I'm going to try and go to a couple more when I don't have the little rugrats ruining my entire weekend because I've got a soccer game at like noon or something like that. Anyways, uh there was, and I'm not going to talk too much about it, but Red River rivalry, we know how big of a game that is, and Texas actually
That wasn't
stepped
even a
up.
game, dude. I was catching that kind of on the plane as I was flying back from Oregon that day, and so I caught that game and then the A&M game on the plane. But dude, the Red River Shootout. All right, let's call it what it is, what it always has been, what it should be. It's the damn Red River Shootout. All right,
It it is. But in this case, it was the Red
Red River
River.
blowout is
Oh,
what it
you got
was.
shot.
Red Red,
Yeah, it was
Red
so
River ass
bad.
kicking.
Yep, it was so bad. So you mentioned it. How'd
You
your
know,
Aggies do?
I mean, played Florida, beat them 34-17, looked good. Um, the the biggest part of the game though is uh Le'Veon Moss getting ankle injury. Uh man,
Ooh,
he's our top running back, and last year he went out as well with I think he hurt his knee last year. And when he went out, the run game completely changed. I mean, that's what the Aggies are really, they're run based. I think they put up like 180 rushing yards this game, 200 yards passing, but they predicated on the run. Moss is a great runner, and man, I don't know how we're going to respond with him being out. Owens is going to be in there. I know he was hurt last year, so we weren't able to fall back on him when Moss got injured. So he might be a good fallback. We still have Daniels, we still have Morrow, so there's some talent there, and man, it's it's gonna be hard to lose Moss. Now, I'll tell you what I've been real impressive with is the Aggie defense. Just third down, their last 3 games. I just want you to take a guess. They have faced third down 33 times. Take a guess at how many times teams have converted on them in the last 3 games.
how many times or the
How many
conversion
times
percentage?
out of 33?
20.
In the
Oh
last 3
wow.
games,
Okay.
A&M's defense is 2 for 33 on third downs. Absolutely amazing.
Oh,
Absolutely
oh,
amazing.
yeah.
So this week we got
That's
Arkansas. Has always been a tough opponent. For the last 10 years we've been playing it up in Jerry World. This is the first year in that since then that we're not. It's actually playing up in Arkansas that the Jerry World games ended. Arkansas, I think they're 2-4, but again, it's another SEC opponent. Those games are always going to be tough. Arkansas is always, a team that's just, going to battle and, just kind of get down in the dirt with you. I mean, even put the record aside, it's going to be a tough game. Um, and then as far as for the Aggies, coaches ranking came out Sunday, ranked number 4 in the country. I you know, I also I don't like it. It just seems anytime we get to that kind of like top 5 ranking, we always just fall off. So, I kind of hate to see it. I like to see it, but I've seen what happens before. So, it's just like, man, 6-0. I've been burned before by him, so we'll see. But
Yeah. Well, and maybe this time will be different. You
you know
never
what? I
know,
hope so.
right?
I hope so. We got halfway through the season. We got 6 more games. So obviously we're
Yeah.
we're on a
Well,
projection to make it into the playoffs. We'll see how the games finish out. We've
mhm,
got LSU ranked, Missouri ranked, and Texas ranked. So
yeah. Well, and obviously we're living in crazy times right now. Tech is ranked
yeah,
7th in the nation, and they're winning. Now we know about why, but still, it's insane. Whoever would have thought Tech would have been in the top 25, and now they are, right? So that being said, obviously there's going to be some pretty good games going on. And by the way, Barry Alvarez is rolling in his grave. He's not actually deceased, thank God. I can make that joke. But watching what his Wisconsin Badgers are doing, he's got to be just livid, man. It is just so bad. That program is just a dumpster fire now. I feel so bad for him. Anyways, um, there's gonna be some great games coming up this weekend. 21, there are Texans at 21 going up against Kentucky. Probably not going to be a challenge, but you never know. It's University
yeah,
of Texas. They've done some crazy things, right? Uh, yeah, it just again a lot of good football. I know Oklahoma's looking to redeem themselves against South Carolina, so I'm expecting to see 50 plus in that game, and probably some decapitations or something. And there's some other good ranked games that are going to be going on also. LSU versus Vandy. Let's see what else. There was another one that I saw. Oh no, I don't want to see this one. Uh, Ohio State's going up against
ooh,
Wisconsin, so that's going to be
ooh,
like a bye for them. Yeah, it's going to be bad. It's going to be a bloodbath. Um, uh, Notre Dame's going up against
that'll
USC.
be an interesting
That
game.
could potentially lead to be a pretty good game. And then BYU's going up against Utah, right? Could potentially be another good game. So lots of good football going on this weekend with college and NFL stuff like that. Don't really have time. We are way over. We're almost half an hour over. So we're not going to go too much into the yes, 100%, honey, a massacre. It's going to be bad. Um, we're not going to go into any of the arena stuff or anything, but there's announcements that are being made. AF1 is adding teams. They're kind of solidifying. San Antonio Gunslingers adding some incredible players, so you're going to want to keep an eye on them. Uh, Harry definitely going to miss the Brahmas, but that doesn't necessarily mean things are
Yeah,
necessarily over, right?
obviously I know y'all talked about it a lot last week. We got a chance. We got a chance in 2 years if things work out to maybe come back. So we'll just have to see. I mean, obviously we're gonna do everything we can just to remind the league that we're here, that we're supporting the teams, the league, everything. So
I'm glad that you brought that up. We actually posted an article recently, very recently, in fact, about some of the things that you can do to help keep the team relevant and help increase our chances of bringing the team back. One of the things that we need to do is get involved with the community and do some things in the name of the Brahmas, right? So we are going to try and implement some of those things, such as maybe doing a food bank day and getting all the fans together and taking pictures and having it make the local news media, right? We also need to reach out to our city council and find out what we need to do there. Let them know that we are interested in bringing the team back and that we're going to support this team. And they need to really get in touch with the UFL and try and work something out, whether it's, you know, getting more fans in the dome to make the bottom look fuller. Because I'm telling you, there's probably about 30, 35 at the UTSA game this weekend, and it was loud. It was raucous. Parking lot was packed, tailgating everywhere. It's what you would expect from a football game, but it was just the bottom bowl. And that's all you would see on TV, anyways. So we need to try and work on getting people committed to this to get in that bottom bowl. Or we need to try and see if we can do something to work something out with Toyota Field, right? But that's going to come from us. We are going to have to lead the charge on that. So check out that article that we posted. Look at some of those options that you can do. Reach out to your city councilman. We are working on some things behind the scenes as well to see what we can do to maybe bridge some of those gaps between the UFL and some of these other potential locations, because we want the team back just as
Absolutely.
badly as you do. And we're not ready to just give up without a fight, right? That being the case, though, there are other things that we can do, right? While you're looking to fill that football fix, there are the San Antonio Gunslingers, right? We might potentially see something from, this Continental Football League. There might be some, very interesting news. So there are other things, right? So football faithful, don't lose hope, right? There are avenues for you to keep working to try and bring something back, but we have to do it together as a group. We can't fight each other. We can't be against each other. We have to work together. So if there are any differences in the group or anything like that, let's put those aside. Let's come together as a team and let's work to get our team back or find something that we can get behind.
Absolutely.
So, okay. I think that's all I got. We are way over on time. Uh, Harry, exactly.
Yep.
Things like this, showing up to the games with our thing. And we're asking you to go ahead and start. I'm going to put the hashtag in the chat right now. But this is the hashtag that we want to start running with on all of your social medias. You make a post, like post some of your old pictures, put this hashtag in there, and it's going to be hashtag bring
Yep.
back the Brahmas. Okay. Um, we've seen the power of the hashtag. Okay. We know what it can do. We used it. We got Milton involved, right? We used it when Houston was going to lose their team potentially and help kind of save their team. Well, now it's our turn, right? This is where we're going to have to call on other fans from other fan bases to help get behind us and support it. So push the hashtag, bring back the Brahmas, post your pictures, post the events that you guys are at, show up in your gear, and make it known that we're still here. We're not going anywhere. Okay. So there you go. That being the case, I think that's all we got for tonight. B, you got anything else to say before
And
we
the only
check out
thing
of
I
here?
gotta say
And almost an hour
is
late.
suck at Washington.
There you go. I'm a Packers fan. What am I going to say? All right. See you guys later. Keep up the
Later.
hope, right?